Hello again everyone, and welcome back to another one of these Taoism Explained videos. Today we are going to jump into chapter 12, so let's go ahead and read 3 translations and go into detail on what's being said. So without further ado, our first version goes like this. Colors 5 hues from the eyes their sight will take. Music's 5 notes the ears as deaf can make. The flavors 5 deprive the mouth of taste. The chariot course and the wild hunting waste make mad the mind and objects rare and strange. Sought for, men's conduct will to evil change. Therefore the sage seeks to satisfy the craving of the belly, and not the insatiable longing of the eyes. He puts from him the latter and prefers to seek the former. Another version goes like this. The 5 colors combined, the human eye will blind. The 5 notes in one sound, the human ear confound. The 5 tastes, when they blend, the human mouth offend. Racing and hunting will human hearts turn mad. Treasures high prized make human conduct bad. Therefore the holy man attends to the inner and not to the outer. He abandons the latter and chooses the former. And our last translation. An excess of light blinds the human eye. An excess of noise ruins the ear. An excess of condiments deadens the taste. The effect of too much horse racing and hunting is bad, and the lure of hidden treasure tempts one to do evil. Therefore the wise man attends to the inner significance of things, and does not concern himself with outward appearances. Therefore he ignores matter and seeks the spirit. So the first thing that I'd like to say is that in a modern understanding of the world, there are obviously more than 5 colors and 5 tones. We do agree, however, that there are 5 tastes, those being sweet, salty, bitter, sour, and umami. Without going too much further into this, I just wanted to get that out of the way. The ancient Chinese worldview was obviously quite different from ours now. One example being that all things are made of the 5 elements. This is essential to the traditional philosophy of China. Anyways, the point is that these lines won't be taken literally in our examination here. Rather, it would be safe to assume that this part of the verse is in reference to moderation. Eating a meal with all 5 tastes would likely be a sensory overload. The meal would certainly taste awful, and there would be no signature flavor to the dish. Nothing would stand out to us. In the same way, if an artist blends all of their colors together on the canvas, they will most likely get a dull outcome, void of any detail. Colors work together, and art is appreciated more greatly when there are contrasts in a piece. And to drive the point home, guitarists playing 5 different notes at the same time would sound dreadful. With no intervals of silence between notes, no tempo or rhythm, we would have a sort of audible puddle of mush. It's like smashing your hand into the low notes on a piano all at the same time. Boom, you know. So rather than to overdo it and to load our senses up to such a degree, Lao Tzu again reminds us that moderation is our friend. If we're always running around and stimulating ourselves to the highest possible extent, we find that it gets boring after a while. Whatever it may be, the thing loses its appeal when it's overdone. If you go skydiving every day, it would eventually lose its allure. If you ate spicy food at every meal, it would eventually lose its flavor. If you listen to the same song over and over again, it becomes routine. And Lao Tzu finishes off by telling us yet again that we must not allow material pursuits to be our focal point in our existence. If we spend our entire lives in search of precious things, we forget where we started, and we will lose ourselves in the process. And so the sage attends to the belly. They avoid going after things externally. We remain centered and grounded in this reality. This one right here. Instead of being on a constant journey for improvement, we accept things as they are, and oftentimes come to the conclusion that it wasn't so bad after all. This chapter really seems to be pointing to the idea that what we see out there will never be as important as what we feel in here. The hustle and bustle has its appeal, and it has its place in all of our lives, but we must remain in charge of our own existence, and we must be able to know when enough is enough.